2016 marks the 25th year of the Elderberries Choir.
The choir was the brainchild of Gravenhurst Senior Center Director Mike Lepiski, who, in 1992, though he didn't even sing himself, thought the Gravenhurst Seniors Club would benefit from a cultural activity in addition to the many recreational opportunities offered.
Exploratory discussions with about a dozen interested parties began in September of that year. By the third meeting, when an impasse was reached, Keith Bradley called a halt to the discussion with the words, "Let's sing."
The group drifted into the lounge area, found some music, and spent half an hour stretching their vocal cords. The magic of song proved to be the catalyst that made the choir a reality.
Janice Telfer, the music teacher at GPS at the time, was the first director, with Bernice Nye and Corey Barnes as accompanists.
Funding was received from the New Horizons program for the purchase of music and honorariums for the director and accompanists.
It was Corey who suggested the name Elderberries.
20 singers presented their first concert at Trinity United Church on December 16, 1992.
A banner was designed and created by Glenna Kurgan. Bruce Gillen and Peter Campbell crafted the stand.
Music in my heart will set my spirit.
In October 1993, the choir attended an all-day choral extravaganza in Godrich under the leadership of composer-songwriter Don Bessick, and ended the day by participating in a 200-voice massed choir.
Don Bessick pieces are still popular with the choir and are performed regularly, including the choir's closing number, Go Now in Peace.
In October 1994, the choir journeyed to Port Elgin to participate in another workshop called Interchoir.
Singing was obviously a popular activity because by the fall of 1993, the choir had 56 members, one of whom, Audrey Gammon, was still singing with the choir until 2015.
In 1994, the Elderberries participated in the Kiwanis Music Festival in Orillia, winning a $50 prize. 3 years later, they took home the gold.
Elderberries' full and mini concerts have been presented in too many venues to name, but do include the Opera House, most of the local churches, the Senior Center, firemen homes and nursing homes, and the Gravenhurst Legion.
We participate in many civic and community events.
I'm carried in the morning, I'm getting ready for the judgment day. My own, and all the bells on each shall ring on Christmas Day in the morning. I am a small part of the world.
In 2006, our founder, Mike Lepiski, was honored by having the auditorium at the Gravenhurst Senior Center named after him. We were proud to take part in this celebration.
Giving back to the community is one of the goals of the Elderberries. Money raised at our concerts has been donated to many deserving organizations, among them the Gravenhurst Legion, junior bands in Muskoka, and the Alzheimer's Society.
We have held public fundraising events to help purchase music and equipment. In turn, the community has turned out to concerts and events to support the Elderberries.
A recent addition to the June concert is a silent auction. All the items and services are donated by the choir members.
The choir has an executive which meets with the director and the pianist to plan programs and activities for each coming year. A summer executive meeting provides opportunities for socializing as well as planning.
From time to time, there are social gatherings of the entire choir.
Food is always a welcome component of Elderberry gatherings. Potluck is eagerly anticipated.
At the Christmas and year-end concerts, the choir members provide delectable edibles and refreshing beverages for their audiences.
Over the years, the choir has had 7 directors. Jan Telfer directed for the first 3 years.
Leanne Edwards has directed the choir twice, with a gap of 12 years during which Linda Pace, our longest serving director, served for 8 years.
Kathy Kilbourne, Barb Leake, Doug Tanner, and Robert Lawson held the position for shorter terms.
The current director since the spring of 2013 is the talented, energetic, and enthusiastic Deb Tilson.
The Elderberries' repertoire consists primarily of Broadway songs, pop and folk music, spiritual and gospel, patriotic, and jazz.
We may be Elderberries, but we are definitely not fuddy-duddies.
The choir has been fortunate to have some extremely talented accompanists over the years. In addition to shorter stints by Bernice Nye, Corey Barnes, Terry Vint, Judy Fleming, Lois Ann Dillabow, and Dan McCoy, Lois Cavey and George Cadwell each served for several years.
George Johnston holds the record for longevity with 8 years.
2016 marks our 4th season with pianist and musician Carolyn Grant of Orillia.
We are mostly Elderberries, but younger berries are welcome to join the choir.
You don't have to be able to read music or pass an audition. You just have to love music and love to sing.
Membership fees are low so that everyone who wants to join can afford to do so.
We have members from Gravenhurst and the surrounding area, Bracebridge, Bala, Port Carling, and Orillia.
We are all eagerly looking forward to the 2016-17 choir season, the 25th anniversary of the Elderberries.
Oh, you